What it do, everybody? Welcome back to another Counterpunch fight predictions live stream. If you're new to these, my name is Lucas. His name is Rohan. This weekend we've got UFC Kansas City. Very good fight night. We're coming off a week off. We had PFL last week, which was pretty shitty. Thank God we're back. And I'm looking forward to this card. As I said, it's a pretty good fight night, and it should be a fun one. Rohan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Crazy. It's close to the end of the semester already. I got like one more week out here, so enjoying the last of LA while I can. But I'm definitely excited for this card, man. Obviously, Prates was supposed to fight Jeff Neal. I feel like we got a better main event with this one. I cannot wait. There's bad blood already brewing between these two, so I'm definitely excited for this card. How about you, bro? How you doing?
I'm well. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's some bangers. We're coming off our biggest betting night ever.
Yep.
In that UFC 314 card. I mean, Volkanovski max bet, Oleg Zaishuk max bet, and Oleg Zaishuk was definitely a little bit easier than Volkanovski, but Volkanovski got it done as well. Showing off like a granite chin, kind of. I mean, I know he got dropped, but like he was taking a shot from a hard hitter.
That was impressive, man. I mean, he ate some big shots from one of the hardest hitters in the division, and that was my worry. It was like, when those shots do land, how is he going to respond? And he responded like a champion that he is. So heads up. I mean, hats off to him. I'm definitely excited that he has the belt. I was just telling you, like, I didn't even realize how happy I would be that he's champ again, but it just feels right that he's the champ, and I think he solidified himself as the GOAT of that division as well with that win. So
yeah, did he? I don't know.
I think so, man. In my eyes, I mean, I think the 3 wins over Holloway and especially that third one already put him over him. So it's really, is it, if you want to say Ilya, I think he just didn't fight enough. And then it's like Conor and Jose. But I mean, Jose, I think Alex has faced tougher competition than Jose. I mean, if I'm being truly honest, and then Conor, I mean, it's the only other one. But in my eyes, I think it'd have to be Volk for me. I think he's done a lot. He's beaten the best of the best, and getting the belt back after people, I mean, everybody was counting him out. I know you weren't. I'm not speaking on behalf of you, but I feel like a lot of people were counting this guy out, and the way he responded, and I feel like he can go on a little run here too, depending on who he fights next. I'm excited to see who he gets, but I think he'd be my featherweight GOAT, Alex Volkanovski.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put up a fight there. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. But for now, we got a fun fight night to break down. How many fights? There's a lot, right? 14 fights. Something's canceled though, unfortunately. But I was big on that Evan Elder's original opponent, Hassan Zada, and then he gets arrested for. You could just look it up. You could just look it up. I don't know what the terms of service, how it works on this is, but yeah, just look.
My question is, how was the UFC even signing people like that in the first place? It's not the first time. They just got so many criminals on their roster, I swear.
Those Muslims, man. They like them young, unfortunately. That's all I'll say. All right, let's go. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen and let's get it popping. Boom, there we go. Unfortunately, the first fight on the card is just, sometimes there's 1 or 2 fights on each card that I'm literally going to say 5 words about, say I don't give a fuck, and we're going to move on. And why should I care about this fight? I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, Chelsea Chandler's going to come forward and try to fight, and she's going to fight autistic, and it's up to Jocelyn Edwards to see if she can stay patient. I mean, there's nothing to break down. It's a 50-50 fight. I just want to look at the odds. Wow. Jocelyn Edwards up to -300 is kind of insane.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, they both suck, but you're going to give me one of the fighters at +250. I mean, that's kind of wild. I don't know. I just I don't care. I don't care. I mean, it's one of those, man, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot to say, about this low-level female fight. I do have a history with Jocelyn Edwards fights, but this is one that, I mean, wow, the line is freaking crazy. -300 on any Jocelyn Edwards fight is just outlandish. But, I mean, that just goes to show you how confident people are, obviously betting this line and blowing it out. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, what is it? It's going to be Chelsea Chandler trying to come forward with the pressure, the volume. She does throw a lot, but Jocelyn Edwards has a lot of volume in her own right. She has some solid leg kicks. I think that's going to be a big weapon of hers in this fight is attacking those leg kicks. And then the wrestling, I mean, both of these ladies have kind of mid takedown defense and mid takedown offense. So it's like I feel like they're going to cancel out in a lot of areas, and it's going to come down to the stamina and who comes on stronger in the end. And I'll just favor Jocelyn Edwards in that department. I think she's fought the better competition, but this is just a horrible fight to start the card. But thankfully, it's like one of a few, so we'll take it.
Yeah, from a pick standpoint, I have to go Edwards just because she's the more technical fighter. But I mean, this line is just what the fuck. You know?
Yeah.
I might like I'd like to stay away from a fight like this, but you give me that number and maybe it's gonna be a split decision. So maybe it might be. You never know. All right, let's move on. Next one, we got another very low level fight. Timmy Kwamba taking on Roberto Romero. I want to go check out Romero real quick. I believe he didn't fight in the contender series. Yeah, no, I'm losing with someone else. But he made his UFC debut against David Onama on like a few days' notice, I believe. Goes in there, and like makes it like kind of close. Like didn't he like hurt Onama at one point? I think I don't know. He was in there. He made it a dog fight. He lost a unanimous decision. Got dominated outside of like hurting Onama once, I believe. We don't really know a lot on Roberto Romero. He's now got a full fight camp, which is big. He's taking on Timmy Kwamba, who had a contender series win. Didn't get signed, and then he got signed. Lost to Bolaji Oki in a close fight, and lost to Lucas Almeida. It's a very low level fight. It's tough for me to have a real read on this. I don't know. Romero's a dog. He's gonna come forward. He's tough. He's been knocked out once, and I believe it was a while ago. We don't really know where his chin's at, but he survived 15 minutes with David Onama, which is pretty impressive. I don't know. I think Roberto Romero can come forward and make it. I don't know. The line's dead even for a reason. It's just tough to have a real read on this fight when we just don't. It's just a low-level fight. We just don't know enough. I guess Timmy Kwamba's back against the wall. If he loses here, he probably gets cut. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this. Do you have a better read than I?
I mean, look, I did a little bit of tape on both of these guys just because it's been a while since I've seen each of them fight. And I feel like I've been just off of the recent tape that I did, not too crazy, but a little more impressed with Roberto Romero and what I've seen from him. Obviously, I mean, he's not fighting on some crazy regional circuit. He was fighting in like the Combat Global League or whatever it's called. But he did have some like fairly decent performances. I mean, a few knockout wins, and like you said, he is definitely a dog. I mean, that's the one thing you see on all his tape is he is coming forward nonstop, and he's gonna eat 5-6 shots to land his shots. But the problem I see in this fight for Timmy Kwamba is I feel like his volume and how aggressive he is just like kind of tapered off in a few of his fights throughout the 15 minutes. He'll start the fight looking really good, looking really fast, and then by the middle of the second round, you're like, okay, well, where did that pace go? What happened to it? I just think, in this fight, this is a fight that he's going to have to keep that pace up. So I'm going to pick Roberto Romero just to, by way of grit and like toughness, just outworking Timmy Kwamba late. But this is, I mean, there's not much to say about this low level fight. It could go either way. I'm just going to side with the guy who I trust more in the later rounds.
Yeah, Timmy Kwamba's like a fake point fighter. Like he tries to stay technical and he tries to stay technical.
It looks fake. That's a good way to put it, bro. That's a good because like he's bouncing on the outside, but all it is in the end is like low volume because you can be a good point fighter if you're constantly attacking the legs or constantly attacking the body. But he's just doing that every now and then and stay on the outside. He's not going to really let him stay on the outside a lot. So, I mean, I think there's going to be chances for Romero to do some damage, but I don't know. A fight that I really don't care about. And this big card that I feel like there's a lot of good fights on this one. This one is just whatever. Throw it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to test how technical Timmy Kwamba can stay. Roberto Romero is going to come forward. We've seen Timmy Kwamba try to be technical in the past, but now he has somebody that's actually going to bring a dogfight. Bolaji Oki, he looks like he's going to come forward and brawl with you, but in his fight against Timmy Kwamba, he kind of stayed to the outside as well. And then that fight against Lucas Almeida, they both stay to the outside. Now he's fighting a real pressure fighter. So we're going to see maybe he can catch Romero kind of coming in. You never know, but it's going to be a test for Kwamba. If he doesn't win this, I don't see him winning a fight in the UFC, to be honest. I don't know. Pick-wise, give me Romero. This is a fight I'm just going to watch as a fan. 14 fights in this card. There are going to be some passes. Why did I just get an ad from Brugger's Bagels? I ordered from there this morning. That's kind of cool. On Tapology. They're trying to make me order again. Not happening. All right, let's move on. Next fight, Jacqueline Amarim taking on Polyana Viana. Yeah, this is, short and sweet. I'm curious where the line is right now. Amorim up to minus 800.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask you. Like before we even started, I was gonna say, yo, what are your thoughts on that line? Because Jesus Christ.
I don't mind. I honestly don't mind it. I think Amorim finishes her probably by submission. I'm probably gonna play Amorim by sub or like the under 1.5 or something. Yeah, Viana's a fish out of water on the ground. Maybe we should get a ground and pound finish. That might be a look. Polyana Viana, Jillian Robertson took her down and she got demolished. Yasmin Lucindo, it was a close fight on the feet. Lucindo takes her down and the arm triangle gets synced in like a millisecond. She's just a fish out of fucking water on the ground. We've seen her get armbarred before. Amorim has loads of submissions. The only bad look was her debut against Sam Hughes, but she blew her wad in the first round. We've seen that happen to a lot of UFC fighters in the past. She's come back. She dominated 3 rounds against Conejo Ruiz. Corey McKenna armbarred her. Demopoulos armbarred her. I mean, yeah, I think this is going to be a quick sub, to be honest. Reminds me a lot of that Dion Barbosa fight we saw a few weeks ago. And that, you have one high-level submission artist versus a fish out of water on the ground, even though Polyana Viana is actually a black belt, which makes no fucking sense. Amorim's improving fight by fight. I think she's good, and I think she wins dominantly.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I do think like minus 800 on any female fight, it gets a little sketchy, right? But at the same time, the way Jacqueline Amorim is finishing her fights, the way she's looking against, I would say, slightly better competition, maybe not too crazy, but I do think that she has a big edge on the ground here against Viana. I mean, Viana's known for her striking. I mean, she fights with Alex Pereira and trains with them, so she does have her good kickboxing moments here and then, and that shows in her wins, but in the losses, it's obvious every single time what the glaring hole is, and it's always the wrestling, it's always the ground game. And Amorim is just she's a dog on the ground. The armbar, the way she's able to just snatch up that limb without you even having a chance to react, really, it's really scary in this division. And I mean, that just base of having good ground game, it can get you far. Look at Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Hebos, for example. Those are 2 women that really don't have a lot of striking whatsoever, but that ground game has taken them places, and taken them to main event slots and shit like that. So I think that it's definitely a big tool of Amorim's that she's continued to show off. And this is another spot where she's going to do that. I think Viana's going to give up takedowns, and as soon as she does, I feel like Amorim's just going to be chasing those limbs. She's just so good at transitioning from position to position, and I do think she's going to make this one look pretty dominant. I actually already have a play on the under 1.5. It started at I parlayed it, but it was like minus 250, I think.
The under 1.5.
Under 1.5. Sorry, yeah, under 1.5.
No, you said under 1.5. If you parlayed it, are you talking about the under 2.5?
Yeah, no, the under 1.5. I'm pretty sure was minus. No, under 2.5. Sorry, was.
No, I don't even think there's a line for under 1.5.
No, under 2.5. I'm thinking about the Smith fight because that's another. We'll get to that later, but that's another under over line that I was looking at. But no, the under 2.5. I do think that this fight ends in an Amorim sub within the first 2 rounds. I think that she's gonna have plenty of opportunities to do that. And that's definitely a confident pick of mine on this card.
Yeah. Amorim sub early. I agree. Yeah, under 1.5 actually when the line comes out might be a look. But honestly, this line is kind of ridiculous because on the feet it's going to be close. Polyana Viana has good boxing. We've seen her knock someone out cold, which is you don't really see that often. It was Jin Frey, but regardless. But man, as soon as Amorim gets a takedown, it's wraps probably. All right, let's move on. Cameron Simon, Malcolm Wellmaker. I believe that's next. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
This is a very, very weird fight. And I'm not saying that as in it's a weird fight in they're not good fighters. They're both really good, in my opinion. It's just we don't know where either of them are, right? Malcolm Wellmaker fought Adam Bramheld, knocked him out. Looked good, but again, we don't really know the level of Adam Bramheld. We don't really know. It was a weird knockout. He kind of leaves his chin in the air. Catches him with a slip, right? But it was against the lower level guy. We don't really know too much about Wellmaker. He's taking on Cameron Simon, who, here's the thing with Cameron Simon, Rohan. He went from fighting shit fighters, winning those fights, to fighting really good fighters in Christian Rodriguez and Peyton Talbot and losing those fights. So we don't really know where he is. He's also 24. I feel like Wellmaker's, again, we just don't really know his level. I mean, look at the Tapology picks. It's almost dead even. It's just a really hard fight to read. Honestly, don't have a pick. I want to hear what you have to say first, and then maybe I'll choose a side.
Yeah, this is a tough one, but I know we don't technically know a lot about Wellmaker, in the sense that he hasn't fought good competition whatsoever. That's it's a very solid point to make in this fight. But that said, if you're just watching him, man, he is undefeated for a reason, man. The guy's striking is nice. I like his striking a lot. I like how patient he is. Obviously, he's not, Peyton Talbot on the feet or one of these guys. And I do wonder about, his knockout power, because like there's been times I've seen on the tape where he's landing clean and his opponents are kind of just eating it. And that's not the best sign against somebody like Simon, who does have a really good chin, but he's got 4 of his 8 wins by knockout. That last one though, the last knockout against Bromhold, I think that was just beautiful on the Contender Series. I know what you're saying about how untested his opponent was, but still the way it happened, the way in which he slid out of the way, beautiful check right hook. I mean, it made so much sense. It was a beautiful finish. And I feel like that's just who he is as a fighter. He's not one that's going to put the pressure on his opponents. He'll sit back and counter strike, and he's perfectly content to do that. And so far, I mean, it's worked for him. It's worked throughout his career. And this is just it's a counter fighter's dream fighting Cameron Simon. Because this guy comes forward with reckless abandon. He's always got his chin up in the air, I feel like, always looking to wing big shots. He kicks a lot. That's the one thing I like about Cameron Simon on the feet, is how he mixes up the punches and the kicks. I do like his combinations, but he just tends to get ahead of himself. And when he does get ahead of himself, he'll leave his chin right there to be caught. So we're going to learn a lot about Malcolm Wellmaker in this fight. Obviously, the line is really close. I think he's a slight favorite. Last time I checked, like minus 115. But it's all about, does Cameron Simon use the wrestling? I think that's a big weapon in this fight. He's got to at least look to take this fight to the ground, because on the feet, I do think that he is at a disadvantage just in the accuracy department, in the composure department. But yeah, man, I think Wellmaker, maybe the takedown defense holds up strong enough. And I know, man, Simon, he was a really highly touted prospect. The losses are not bad at all. Talbot and Rodriguez back-to-back, and he didn't look terrible in the Rodriguez one. But Talbot, the way he made him look on the feet, I think Wellmaker can not copy that, but definitely build on that and just like take things from that performance from Talbot. So I'll pick Wellmaker, 29-28, close decision win. But this is one that I'm just excited to watch, man. This is gonna be a fun fight.
It's just tough, man, because I just don't know I don't know the level of Wellmaker really. Dude, I don't know. I mean, there's a reason the line is literally dead even. Tapology picks, slight favorite to Wellmaker. I'm gonna go with Cameron Simon. I think I will. He's taken a lot of time off since that knockout. I took a lot of damage in that fight. He's 24. He's only getting better. And I just think Wellmaker, there are some holes in his striking defense that Simon might be able to take advantage of. This fight's going the distance. It's a tough one to call. Give me Cameron Simon, though. Yeah, I do think Simon is very tough. And I think Wellmaker's going to need a finish to win this fight. And I just think Simon's got this. I think he'll be able to put a pace on, and I think he'll be able to mix the martial arts. And very low confidence, but give me Cameron Simon. Who do we got in the chat here? We got Z. What's going on, Z's? Yeah, give me Simon. Who'd you say? Wellmaker?
I did take Wellmaker, but I see all your points. And look, I disagree with the fact that he needs a finish to win this fight. I do think that there's a path for him to just do the more damage in those 2 rounds, land the cleaner shots, make Cameron Simon's head snap back a few times with those right hands, and just look better in the judge's eyes. I do think he can win a decision, but I think Cameron Simon is as tough as they come. And this guy, I mean, he's an athletic, not freak, but he's very athletic, and that helps in these divisions. So it's going to be a really fun fight. I can't wait for this one, for sure.
Yeah, word. All right, let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got Damone Blackshear versus Alateng Haley. At first I really wanted to put Blackshear in a parlay. I was going to parlay him and Evan Elder and like max bet it. But I don't know. I mean, that Blackshear fight against Cody Gibson kind of scared me. He started off very slow. He got hurt, taken down. But man, like as soon as he gets on top of you, it's literally over. He's faced such high level competition at this point, and he's got a lot of minutes in. He's taking on Alateng Haley, who he's got really good boxing. Not really good, but he's got good boxing. He's got good wrestling. But I think Blackshear, while they're on the feet, will be able to keep his range. And then if Alateng Haley takes him down, I don't think he has the best control. I do feel like Blackshear will be able to reverse and probably find a submission. Alateng Haley's been subbed once. When did that come? Way, way back in the day. Got armbarred. Yeah, I don't really count that. It was 10 years ago. It's an interesting fight. I mean, you look at who he's beating. He hasn't really beat anybody in the UFC yet of note, and he's been in the UFC since 2019. I mean, I guess his best win is Chad and Hellinger. Not a horrible win. Lost to Casey Kenny. Casey Kenny was good back in the day. Lost to Chris Gutierrez. He was, pressuring Chris Gutierrez and just got leg kicked. I think I'm going to go Blackshear. I do feel like on the feet it'll be close. I feel like Alateng Haley will actually get Blackshear down. Blackshear reverses like he did to Gibson and probably finds a submission. He's just so dangerous on that ground. I mean, you remember that? That twister against fucking what's his name? Jose Johnson was disgusting. He then subbed Cody Stamen super fast. He then subbed Cody Gibson with that Kimura after a weird round one. I don't know. I feel like it will be close, and he won't look minus 400 at first, but then he's gonna when it hits the mat. I mean, he's just so ridiculous on the ground. So give me my boy Damone Blackshear to find a submission here against Alateng Haley. I think the line is a little wide. I feel like I might just play the sub prop. What's the odds on the sub prop? Let me see. Let me check that out. Plus 150. That's it. It's kind of shitty. Yeah, give me Blackshear sub.
Yeah, I absolutely love the breakdown. I mean, I think he won't look minus 400 in the first 2.5-3 minutes of this fight because Alateng Haley's pretty decent on the feet. He's got that, pretty generic, but like orthodox, but dependable boxing is what I call it. Like he can rely on that to just make any round pretty competitive. But to your point, I mean, Blackshear's decent on the feet as well. I think he's starting to improve in how he's mixing up his combinations, throwing less of like single strike combinations. And all that is to just eventually get the fight to the ground where he is just clearly the better fighter. And I mean, he has so many wins by submission. Now, what is the number? I'm not on Tapology right now. Out of his 16 wins, 11 by submission. I mean, this is a really, really, really dangerous grappler, man. And I just think that there's going to be opportunities. Like, will Alateng Haley make it easy? Absolutely not. I think there's going to be a lot of scenarios with Blackshear trying to hang on to him on the fence, trying to get him down to the feet, trying to use some trips here or to the ground. Use some trips here and there. Try to get to the back, but he does it all. It's not like he has one path of getting a submission. I mean, he finished Cody Gibson by Kimura, and you explained how weird that fight was. It was kind of back and forth exchange on the ground, and eventually caught his arm. Jose Johnson, we just mentioned, twister. I mean, one of like 3 in UFC history. Rear naked chokes, guillotines. I mean, he's finishing arm triangles. I mean, this is a really, really, really dangerous grappler that knows how to finish fights in a multitude of different positions. And so, yeah, I trust him to attack a submission at any point in this fight and probably come close to probably end it. Yeah, I do think Blackshear by sub is a strong play. I know plus 150 is not a lot of value there, but usually, I mean, when the books are on it, it's been a theme I feel like for these cards this year. It's like when those knockout props and those submission props are really, really juiced, and it's just like, man, you kind of know it's going to happen. And I think it's one of those fights where if Blackshear does win this fight, it's going to be by submission. If Alateng Haley wins this fight, it's going to be by decision because I don't think he finishes Blackshear. So it's going to be a good fight, but give me Blackshear. Give me Blackshear by submission. I like that, and I like him to win this.
Yeah, Blackshear, I mean, if you look at his losses in the UFC, right, he had those back-to-backs. He lost to first he had that draw against Zalal, which I thought he won. He lost to Mario Bautista. I thought he won. A lot of people thought he won. As a matter of fact, what was this? I want to see what the score was. Because I'm 99% sure they fucked Blackshear out of a win there. He looked really good coming off a week's notice, cutting weight twice. Yeah, the majority of media had it to Blackshear. They kind of fucked him there. And he got, I mean, Montel Jackson, I think, is really good. And he just got put out cold. Unfortunate, just got caught. Then he comes back, rattles off 2 wins. Yeah, it takes him about a minute or 2 to get his game going, which is why I think we'll see a slow start. But man, as soon as he gets into those wrestling grappling exchanges, I mean, I think it's his world. So give me Blackshear. I think he finds a sub in the second, just like his last fight. All right, let's move on. Next fight we've got Chris Gutierrez, John Castaneda, however the fuck you say it. Yeah, I like Castaneda here. I think Gutierrez to win, he needs to, stick to his range, leg kicks, like he did to a Halatang Haley. But I think Castaneda is just very good, high fight IQ. He knows what he needs to do, and I think he's gonna, as Demetrius Johnson says, enter the void, those leg kicks, and hit him with good shots, and also mix in the wrestling. Again, Castaneda, very high fight IQ, solid striking, solid wrestling. I think he'll be able to mix the martial arts here, and probably. I was gonna bet him. What the fuck is that? You're echoing a little bit. I can hear myself. Okay, that's fine now. I was gonna bet him in the. I did bet him when they were originally scheduled at UFC 313, I believe, and I bet Castaneda at like plus 100, plus 105. Now I can get him at plus 120. So I kind of want to see where this line goes, but I do feel like it's weird that the line movement is like that. But I do feel like Castaneda wins. Yeah, Gutierrez is going to be kicking a lot. We've seen Castaneda get finished before. It was against Daniel Santos, who I think is really good. Just got caught by a knee. Comes back, looks good against Moon Kafarov, looks good against Kyung Ho Kang. Loses to Daniel Marcos, but not a lot of shame in that. I think Marcos is a very high-level striker. I think he's better than Gutierrez. I think Gutierrez is getting older, and it's going to be harder for him to keep up that, point-type style at the age of 34. I think Castaneda is good, and I think he probably wins a decision here. This fight's going the distance, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely going the distance. I don't know, man. I don't really have like the best read in the sense that I'm not like too strong on either side here. I think both of them, we kind of know what they do. We kind of know who they are. And it's just one of those fights where the styles are going to kind of cancel out, I feel like, and make for just a really generic kind of run-of-the-mill fight in this division. And I mean, Gutierrez was scheduled to fight John Matsumoto. I think I picked him on the pod in that fight. And it's a similar matchup in terms of like the style that he's facing. Castaneda and Matsumoto both kind of, a little more stocky, a little more, of a brute for the division, but they still have pop to their shots. They still have a lot of explosiveness. And Gutierrez, the way he combats that is, to your point, with the leg kicks and by kind of just picking on the outside and moving around. I do like his footwork a lot. I do like, how he fights out of that bladed karate stance, and he just fights behind his lead techniques, which is a lot of the time what you got to do to give yourself a shot against these guys with a lot of power. And it's just about, to your point, I mean, he's getting up there in age. Castaneda is 33, so you're not going to say, he's some young gun, but Gutierrez is now 34. Hey, man, it's not even that crazy. It's 33, 34. I'm going to just roll with Gutierrez. I think out of his career, I've been a little more impressed with him. I think he's faced a slighter better competition. The two losses recently to Pedro Munoz in 2023 and Song Yadong, I think he loses those fights. I think Castaneda loses both of those fights as well. I mean, not to do MMA math or anything like that, but I'm just making the point that those losses are not terrible to have on your resume. And then at the same time, I just think that, as long as he doesn't really get caught for 2 out of the 3 rounds, I can see Gutierrez doing the better work, staying smart, playing on the outside. So I'll take him. Give me one more Gutierrez money line shot. I'm probably not going to bet on this fight, but I think it's one that he can get done. I think he's taking care of the fights that he is not supposed to necessarily, but has a good chance to. Like, I wouldn't have given him a good chance against Song Yadong any day of the week. And Pedro Munoz is a lot better than Chris Gutierrez on his day. So I think on his day, Gutierrez is a little better than Castaneda. So I'll side with him. But again, a fight that, I'm not too confident. Definitely going to decision. 2-1 either side. There we go.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. I agree. But I just feel like Castaneda has more paths. He can come in and crack him, or he can maybe get some takedowns. It's up to the judges here. I think Castaneda wins, though. And if you're going to give me plus 120, I'm taking that. All right, let's move on. Next fight, we've got Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Yeah, originally I had big, massive bet on Evan Elder. It was going to be one of my biggest bets ever in a parlay with him when he was taking on Hassan Zada. I mean, I just thought there were levels there. Hassan Zada doesn't pull out. He gets released from the UFC, actually, for, some legal issues. You can look that up on your own because we can't talk about it here, but because of the what's the word? It was too graphic. What am I looking for here? It's too graphic of a story for us to speak about on this family-friendly show. Definitely. I definitely don't say slurs every other word. But I do think Evan Elder should win. Gage Young was on the Contender Series against Quillan Salkild, put up a fight, dropped it a unanimous decision, lost that I believe he lost 29-28. So Quillan Salkild, I feel like, is good. Gage Young put up a good account for himself. And I think he'll be able to make this one close. He's taking on Evan Elder, who his wins in the UFC have not been that impressive, right? He beats Gennaro Valdez by decision. Valdez, I feel like, is very low level, he's just like a brawler type of fighter. He submitted Darius Flowers, as he should have. Flowers just died after round 1 because they were in elevation. Gage Young, I think is good. It's just, if I could get Elder at a better, I might bet Gage Young. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, plus 180, plus 175, you're gonna give me on Gage Young against Evan Elder, who hasn't really proved himself to be that guy. I mean, he debuted against Preston Parsons, lost clearly. Then he fights Nazim Sadikov and was winning that fight actually, but then doctor stoppage, he had to cut over his eye. I don't know. It's just, where is Gage Young compared to these fighters? Are we really comfortable to give Elder minus 200? I guarantee you, if Gage was coming into this fight on a full camp, Elder would probably be lined minus 160, minus 170. There would probably be a pass. But Gage Young, he's a young guy. I feel like he can make this close. I feel like he's going to come forward and he can hit hard. And I don't think Elder's going to finish Gage Young. Gage Young, I don't believe, has been finished on the regionals. No, he has been submitted once. That's not really a worry for me when it comes to Evan Elder, though. Not really a submission artist per se, just a very solid martial artist all around. I do feel like Gage Young can make this close. I'm going to pick Evan Elder by decision, but there's not really a lot of finishing upside on the Elder side, which is why I'm considering a Gage Young bet. It's just a short notice of things. It's concerning. We got EG in the chat saying, Lucas Folk ML, you are the MMA Messiah. I tried telling this guy. He wouldn't believe me. He's lucky I'm still doing this podcast with him after last week. No, I'm kidding. It was funny. Do you think Ian Garry washes Prates? I'm putting his money line in all my bets.
Yeah, let's get into that later. Hold on.
We're going to get into it later. I don't think he washes him, but I do think he wins. We're going to get into that later in about 20, 25 minutes. Rohan, let me get your opinion on this fight.
Yeah.
I also know that it just got announced, so if you don't got a deep breakdown, don't force it.
Yeah, not a deep breakdown. I did do a little bit of tape study on these guys. I watched a bit of Gage Young before we started the pod. I can't even lie. And just based off of my little tape study that I do, I'll pick Evan Elder. I think he's the cleaner fighter. I think he's better on the feet. I like his head movement a lot more. I like that he's a little more calculated in there. That's all I can really say about this one. I do think that Gage Young is probably, on a full camp, like you were saying, it's a different story. But all the factors working against him and the fact that Evan Elder's been here, done that, I think that's just going to be my base pick. But again, not confident. Don't take anything I've said. Just take it all with a grain of salt. There's better fights on this card, and there's better fights to pick. So, yeah.
Without a doubt. This just got announced 2 days ago, so you really I really am not. I'm not that confident either way. I do think Elder wins just because he's had a long time to prepare for this fight.
Yeah.
Also looks like he's training a lot on his Instagram, Obviously don't want to pick off that, but it seems like he's ready. I think he'll be the fresher fighter here, but you never know. Gage Young could land something. All right, let's move on. Next fight we've got. This is my fight of the year. Matt Schnell, Jimmy Flick. Oh, this is such a fucking funny fight. I like Schnell.
It's actually probably going to be entertaining,
I think this is the second ever time I've ever sided Schnell. The first time I've ever sided him confidently, ever. I faded him against Durden. It hit. I faded him against Usyk. Remember that, Rohan? I had a massive everything Usyk. Knockout round 2, everything. That was huge. Nicolau knocked him out. Yeah, faded him there. And then I was at the fight against Subudarji on Long Island before I met you even. And I bet Schnell just for the jokes. And he somehow I don't know how the fuck he won that fight, but he won. Faded him against Royval. I remember I was in a bar for that. That was hitting like crack. I was like beefing with somebody over IGDMs, just like some random. I was in an MMA group chat, and I'm like, he was like, "Oh, Matt Schnell's gonna win. It's the lock of the week." And I'm like, "Bro, stop it. Royval is better." This is a guy who went from fighting Royval 2-3 years ago to now fighting fucking Jimmy the Brick Flick. I think Schnell is he should win this fight easily. The major concern with Matt Schnell is that chin. That is not going to be a problem here. Jimmy Flick has little to no striking. I think Schnell should be able to stick to the outside and I don't think he finishes Flick. I don't think he really has the power at this stage in his career. if this fight it's the mat, Flick is definitely live, but people sleep on Matt Schnell's jiu-jitsu. I think he's got a really good submission game, and I think he'll be able to stay alive if for some reason it does hit the ground. If it does hit the ground, fuck, I'm talking at 100 miles per hour. Let me calm down. I do feel like Schnell is just better on the feet. He's been in wars. Where's his chin at? I don't know. Again, I don't feel like it's a concern against Jimmy Flick. Flick, I don't know what the fuck Nate Maness was doing against Jimmy Flick. Maness should have finished him. He was just playing with his food. And then Maness got cut after that. That's funny. He submitted Malcolm Gordon in a fight he was losing clearly, and then all of a sudden he pulls off an arm triangle. Remember that? I was freaking out over that. that fight was 100% going to finish because both those guys just have no durability. And Malcolm Gordon, the least durable fighter in UFC history, was winning the fight and then just gets subbed. Jimmy Flick, he's just a wild card who just has some good submissions. I think Schnell is too experienced, and he was going to retire after his fight against Cody Durden. He asked the UFC for one more. This is his last fight in the UFC ever, I believe, win or loss. And I do think he gets it done. I will be siding with Matt Schnell confidently for the first time ever.
Yeah, man, you got a good reason to. I mean, I like Jimmy Flick. I'm actually a fan of Jimmy Flick. I remember back in the day. The world's
only Jimmy Flick fan, folks.
No. But I remember. Let me finish. When it was before I met you, even it was like around 2020. I'm gonna go back and find this. Hold on. It was
Cody Durden fight.
No, yes, bro. I mean, yes, that fight, that flying triangle was amazing, man. And I did that a lot when I used to train back in the day. Like that would be, since you got long legs, sometimes you just gotta fucking say fuck it and throw up a flying triangle. And I saw when he did that, I was like, bro, that's amazing. And he's just one of those guys, like he's been that throughout his career, just a killer be killed guy. I mean, look at the fights. I mean, arm triangle, flying triangle. Then he's got finished by Alessandro and Charles Johnson. Not bad, finished his law. And then another sub against Malcolm Gordon. You saw that coming. And then finally a decision loss against Nate Maness. That's just a bad loss to have on your record. Matt Schnell, on the other hand, I mean, what's there to say about this guy? How many videos have we done about Matt Schnell, like potentially being knocked out or having the worst chin in the UFC? Like this guy is just a joke at this point. And he has lost, I mean, 4 out of his last 5 fights. So there's not a lot going for Matt Schnell. But what is going is he's fighting Jimmy Flick. And Jimmy Flick is just not, at this stage in his career, I feel like you wouldn't be crazy to say he's not UFC caliber anymore. 34 years old, the volumes took a crazy dip. That's number one. The durability is always a question. I mean, he's got 6 losses by knockout. I mean, that's more than Matt Schnell, I think, and that's just saying something. Oh, man, this fight is so funny. But, yeah, I just can't see. I see the potential for a Matt Schnell knockout or finish way more than I do for Jimmy Flick. So in this fight, I think you'd be crazy to bet any sort of money on Jimmy Flick. You got to take a risk with Matt Schnell, I guess. What's the line on this? I have no clue.
Mine is 250. I honestly feel like that's generous.
It's a little generous, man. I really struggle to envision Jimmy Flick, pulling off he's only winning fights by submission, and Matt Schnell actually does have decent takedown and submission defense. So I don't think it's a problem for him in this fight. I think this is a big, get back opportunity, if you will. Get back in the win column, get back on the right track, anything, man. I think it all comes into play here for Matt Schnell. So give me Matt Schnell money line. Parlay that up, you'll make some money.
It's going to be the sweatiest minus 250 of my life, but I think I'm going to do it.
I don't know, man. Jimmy Flick in 2025, Jimmy Flick ain't got it anymore, man. He was a fun fighter.
They call that Jimmy Flick fight against Cody Durden the biggest fluke of all time. I think it is. I think I agree.
Bro, that shit was such a legendary submission. He said, "Fuck it, I'm getting fucked up. Flying triangle, give me that." That was a beautiful
biggest fluke ever.
I love that submission, man.
If they fought 10 times, I think Durden.
Yeah, he does, bro. I don't know how that happened, but hey, when you got the creativity like Jimmy Flick, anything is possible. But
the most creative UFC fighter of all time, they call him.
This is
funny. Right, let's move on. How many more fights we got left? Jesus.
There's a bunch, bro.
Okay, we're on the main card now. We got 6 fights left. All right, we got to pick this up, man. I got shit to do. Ikram Aliskerov, Andre Muniz. I'm actually going to keep this one short and sweet because Aliskerov should win, but this line is just what the fuck, right? Aliskerov has not proven himself against anybody. He was actually losing in the first round to Phil Hawes and then cracks him because Phil Hawes has no chin. He goes and fights Warlley Alves. Warlley Alves was a corpse at that point. Finishes him in round 1. Then he goes out against Robert Whittaker, the biggest step up in competition in UFC history, and gets ran through. I think he wins. I think Aliskerov's good. He looked amazing on the regional scene, but we don't really know where he is UFC level. I think Muniz is not awful. You know, he had that fight against Paul Craig. I don't know what the fuck happened there. He lost to Brendan Allen. No shame in that. I think Brendan Allen's really good. Then he got finished by Paul Craig, which was like, something had to be up there, honestly. And then he beats Jun Young Park in a very close fight. Looked good there. If that same fighter from the Jun Young Park shows up, I think he can make this fight very close. And I do not think Alaskarov will look. Yeah, the last time I checked, he was minus 700. Now he's down to minus 500. So people are kind of agreeing with me that this line is what the fuck out of hand. Just because we don't know where Alaskarov is. Once he proves himself here, then maybe I'll be comfortable betting him to not blinds like that, but more comfortable betting him as a favorite. But yeah, I'm thinking about betting Muniz here just because of the question marks around Alaskarov. He's not shown anything really.
Yeah, I mean, I once again 100% agree with the breakdown there, the read. I think Alaskarov, in theory, he should win this fight because he's the better striker. He's got more to offer in all departments of mixed martial arts. Like, we know Muniz is not a one-trick pony because, like you just said, he did show a little bit of the striking, but he ideally wants the fight to be on the ground where he can, do what he does and attack limbs, attack submissions. Alaskarov should be able to avoid those scenarios. Like, if he just fights the way we know he can, I don't think Muniz is going to get him in any sort of like dominant back take position on the ground or anything like that. I do think Alaskarov can just keep this one standing. And if it is on the feet, I mean, he's got the longer weapons. He's got more power. He's got just a more consistent striking arsenal than Muniz. And that's not a shot at him. I think he's a decent, fighter. He's been around in the division for some time. I mean, I remember his fights against, was he the one that snapped Jacare Souza's arm? Was that Andre Muniz?
Yes.
That shit was disgusting, bro. Oh my God. But that was 2021. Since then, Eric Anders, good dub, Uriah Hall, whatever. Lost to Brendan Allen and Paul Craig, though. I mean, you're picking those guys against Andre Muniz every day of the week. Maybe not Paul Craig, but Brendan Allen, damn sure. And, look decent against Jung Young Park. So I think, this line is a little bit blown out. I think earlier in the fight, we could see Muniz, make a good account of himself. But overall, this should be a fight that Ikram Aliskarov wins. So he'll be my pick. But yeah, don't bet this fight or parlay his money line. I would not do that. That's a bit too risky.
Yeah, way too risky. Do not parlay Alaskarov. EG's saying don't trust Ikram's chin. I mean, I don't think he has a bad chin. He got knocked out by Whitaker, but he took that fight on like a week's notice. Probably was a tough weight cut. So you really don't know. I mean, I know he got sparked by Chimaev on the regional scene, but I don't know. What were you going to say?
No, I was just gonna. I don't think Muniz is has the knockout power. Like who do you?
Yeah, exactly that as well. Like he's nothing on the feet.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, still don't bet that. Still don't parlay him up.
Yeah, I might bet Muniz here. The line is kind of nuts. Tried in the chat saying best weekly analysis of UFC fights. Never miss it. I'm banging with my bets on Counterpunch. Me and Rohan have been like scarily accurate recently, just with these predictions.
Yeah, bro. Dead ass. If you're in the Discord, hey man, But even with the predictions, I feel like the breakdowns are always in depth, and we do tell you everything you need to know. So you come into the right spot, baby. The number one place to be.
And here's the thing. I don't want to sound like egotistical here. We may just look like two idiot kids that don't know what we're talking about. We've been doing this for fucking years. Like years.
We know. We're veterans, bro. That's crazy to say, but we literally been doing this for almost 3 years now. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've been betting UFC since I was 15 years old. I'm now 20. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. FBA, what's going on, FBA? Hope you're doing well. All right, let's move on. Next fight, we've got Randy Brown, Nicholas Dalby. I'm gonna let you go first here. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a fight where I'm already on the over. That's all I gotta say about this one now. But I do think that Randy Brown, man, like he's one of those guys like Kevin Holland build, kind of lanky, decent striker. Just he doesn't use the range to the best of his ability. Like he doesn't use the teeps as much. He doesn't use his low kicks as much as he should. He's pretty much just content to chill and fight his way to a decision. Hold on, it's getting windy out here. Sorry if you're hearing anything. But the last fight against Brian Battle, you thought he won that fight. I think you could definitely make a case for that. He looked good. And before that, I mean, he's fighting kind of guys with the same build like Zaleski and Turman, these like kind of stocky guys that he should be beating. Muslim Salikov, good win by knockout in the first round. Lost to Jack Della Maddalena, got subbed. I mean, getting subbed is not a good look, but it's Jack Della Maddalena. He's fighting for the title now. And before that, he looked pretty good. Look, this is a guy that's been around, man. Randy Brown's been around. Same with Nick Dalby, to be honest. They both kind of been around in the fight game, have a lot of experience. Nick Dalby, 29 professional fights. We know what these guys' MO is, especially Dalby. He will sit there for the first 2 rounds and just take damage, and then all of a sudden he'll start to turn up, come forward, and make the fight look completely different in the third round. And that's definitely in play in this fight. I mean, how can it not be? Randy Brown is never like somebody that I wouldn't call him a builder. I would call him, a point fighter. I mean, he's a point fighter. He does have knockout potential, and he does sometimes chase the knockout, but most of the time he's chilling on the outside. And Dalby's chin, man, it's just like I really have a hard time seeing Randy Brown knock him out. And that's what I feel like he's gonna need to do in order to avoid one of those just typical Nick Dalby fights where he's eating a lot of damage, obviously, because he's just a block that's just kind of a punching bag, not a lot of head movement, not a lot of foot movement. But then when you start to slow down a little bit, he'll be like, okay, now's my chance, and now I can start to pick it up. So that's kind of how I see the fight playing out. I mean, I do see that Randy Brown has some success early. I think he'll be the guy with the higher pace, the higher output, mixing it up with the kicks. But then down the line, I think Dalby can definitely take round 3, and if he's lucky, round 2. So I'm going to pick Randy Brown by split decision. That's my pick on this fight. I think it's going to be a really close fight down the stretch, but ultimately the damage should, or just the volume and damage cumulative, should get Randy Brown over the line. So he'll be my pick. Not too confident in this, though. I don't know what the line is. Randy Brown minus 250. I guess I'd have that. Yeah, I could see it. Minus 220, minus 230, I guess. But I think he should get it done. But I could see a little scare here for Randy. So playing it safe.
Yeah, I like Randy Brown too. But if you think if it's gonna be a very close fight, I mean, he shouldn't be minus 250, which he is right.
That's what I'm saying. Like minus 200 just based on merit and skill. Because Nick Dalby's always kind of priced around like, but look at the fights recently. Yeah, I didn't even do. You can go talk about Nick Dalby more in your breakdown, but I mean, this is not a fight that he can't win. I mean,
I don't know. I think Randy wins, to be honest. I think that Randy Brown should be on a 4-fight winning streak right now. He beat Turman, he beat Salikov, he beat Zaleski, and then he beat Brian Battle. I had money on Brian Battle, and I'm telling you guys, Randy Brown won that fight. Yeah, I mean, Dalby, I just don't know. He's getting older. He's a guy that's solid everywhere. He's got his pace. He's got his pressure. Look what he did to Gabriel Bonfim. Very impressive win. I do think Randy Brown, though, is just going to be way too long, and he cuts his angles well. And I just feel like Dalby's going to push for 15 minutes, but I don't think it'll matter. I just think Randy Brown will do too much from the outside over 15 minutes. I don't think he has bad cardio, and I don't know. I don't think he'll get tired. I know Dalby gets a lot of fighters tired, but look at Renat Fakardinov was like breathing heavily. That's what, Fakardinov always says that, but I do feel like it's just a slightly different level here. I think Randy Brown wins the line. Yeah, I'd probably stay away from them. Minus 250 is crazy. We got some chats here. Sprinkle Muniz sub. I'd stay away. I think Alascarov's elite on the mat. I don't think Muniz stubs him. What's the line? If it's like plus 2,000, then why not? But Muniz by sub plus 800. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it. I think Alascarov's legit on the ground. What else we got? We got Brown getting his get back after the robbery versus battle. I agree. Dalby plus 3.5. Maybe he wins round 3. I don't know. Again, I'd stay away. I think Brown probably wins, and he's got all the finishing potential here. But he might get KO'd. Exactly. All right. Next, we got a few more to go. Michel Pereira taking on Abus Magomedov. The battle of cardio. Who's cardio? Pereira probably, but, I think Pereira should win. I just think he's more talented. I think at 185, he's really good, man. I do. I know he lost to Anthony Hernandez, but that was probably the worst possible matchup. That was some of the most money I've ever made live betting. I mean, Michel Pereira goes out there, dominates round 1, hurts Anthony Hernandez to the body, and I think I got Hernandez like minus 160, and I put like $500 on it. I'm like, fuck it, it's getting nuked. And Pereira just got beat to fucking shit for the rest of the fight. I mean, it's a different matchup. It's a big step down here going to Abus Magomedov. He had that whole disaster against Strickland, lost the decision to Kyle Barrio, which was actually a relatively close fight. He made a good account for himself there. comes back, beats Warley Alves by decision, dominates that fight. Then he submits Bruno Ferreira, show that, hey, he can survive in round 3 and beat solid fighters. This is a step up, though, Michel Pereira. I think, again, in my opinion, this fight goes the distance. And I think, we talk about these fights all the time. I think it's Pereira round 1. I think it's Magomedov round 3. I think it's Pereira early round 2. And I think it's Magomedov late round 2. So who's going to get that round 2? I feel like it's a case of that. And I usually, I'm going to go Pereira just because he's going to, it's a close fight. I think he goes to the cards, but Pereira is just going to seem like he's doing more with his, athletic boosts and whatnot. His athletic bursts. I think Pereira takes 1 and 2 and wins a decision. I don't think he finishes Abus, though. I feel like Abus is very technical early as well. Both have cardio problems. Yeah, and there is a chance that Abus slows down. So, in a world where they're both going to be tired as fuck late, give me Pereira because I think he'll win round 1 and win early. I feel like Michel round 1. Is there a chance he finishes Abus? I mean, we've seen Abus crumble.
It is a chance.
We've seen Abus crumble.
Yeah, we have.
I'm gonna go piss real quick, so take the wheel.
All right, got you. This is a fun fight. Every Michel Pereira fight is gonna be a fun fight, regardless of who's on the other side of the octagon. But I think this is a good, dance partner to have. Abus 27-6 overall record. Look, his losses they've been underwhelming, but not crazy. Why did my topology just crash? Not on your guys' stream, but on my stream. I think that, look, the loss to Caio Barrera, we all saw that coming. You'd be lying if you didn't say that coming. And then the Sean Strickland loss, it was just the way it happened, like the way he kind of just quit in there and looked like he wanted a way out, which kind of just turns everybody off. And it makes sense. That's a very valid reason to not pick him in this fight. And I think that's why I'm kind of leaning Michel Pereira, even though he's had some of the same problems earlier in his career. We know all about those. I mean, this guy is somebody that lost to Diego Sanchez. Obviously, that was a legal knee, but I mean, that was a weird fucking fight. It went to round 3. It was a crazy back and forth. But I mean, overall, he's been doing this for such a long time, Michel Pereira. And I feel like in the last, I want to say since the Petrosky fight, when he was fighting Andre Fiallo and Santiago Ponzinibbio, he was still doing the Michel Pereira's crazy kung fu, out of the blue shit that we know him to do, just being the freaking clip farmer that he is in the octagon. But, now I feel like he's taken his career a lot more serious. Ever since that Petrosky fight, he's looked really good. Obviously, still getting first-round finishes. And the last loss to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, I think Fluffy is just, a better fighter, and he did it in typical Fluffy style, finishing the fight in round 5, it's a grueling pace and just grinding his opponent down. That's what Fluffy does. But I don't think that's what Abus is the opposite of Fluffy Hernandez. If you gave me Fluffy Hernandez and said, yo, point me to the opposite of this guy in the division, I'd show you Abus Magomedov. That's literally what I first come to my mind. So I'm just saying, stylistically and all that, this is a really good spot for Michel Pereira to continue his momentum. I think being in a 5-round fight with Fluffy, it was, maybe he wasn't ready for that. Maybe he wasn't ready for that moment. But this is a fight where I just feel like it's just too straightforward for me to turn down, man. I just think Pereira is pretty much, I don't want to say better everywhere. I think he's still got a lot to clean up on the feet, but he's got finishing potential everywhere. And
I wouldn't say he has momentum.
No. I was explaining, like, before that Fluffy fight, it's a 5-round fight in which he was, like I'm saying, I don't know if he was ready for that. Like, and against a guy in Fluffy who is known for doing exactly what he did to Michel Pereira. And now I was saying, if you gave me Fluffy, right, and said, yo, point me to the opposite of Fluffy in this division, I'd probably say Abus, because he's one that, like, he's got all the potential and all, and he doesn't look the part. I mean, he looks the part, but then when the going gets tough, he just fucking crumbles. And the going's going to get tough in this fight against somebody like Michel Pereira, I think. So I'm going to pick Michel Pereira. I'm pretty confident in this one. I know the line is not crazy on this. I think, what is it now? He's minus 132 because, like, skill for skill, Abus can match him, no doubt. Like, we know that. But I just think heart and mind over matter. I gotta take Pereira in this spot, man. I gotta take him.
Yeah, I like Pereira too. We gotta move on here. Next, we've got Giga Chikadze, David Onama. It's an interesting fight. I do think I don't know. Fuck. Am I gonna have to let you go first here again? I don't know. It's just Chikadze was just. I mean, he froze in his last fight against Arnold Allen. Like he had round 2, round 3, just completely froze. I don't know if it was exhaustion or Arnold just started confusing him, but it just wasn't impressive. I think 36 going on 37-year-old Giga Chikadze, we might see him slowly, fading away. I don't know. I'm a little concerned for him, but I think he can crack David Onama. We've seen Onama get hurt. Roberto Romero, who we talked about earlier, hurt him. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird fight. We haven't seen Onama face somebody with the striking prowess as Giga Chikadze, and when he fought like Nate Landwehr, who just put a pace on him, he kind of folded. But I feel like he's getting better. I don't know. It's a tough fight for me to call. I think I'm just gonna go with the youth here of Onama. He's a slight favorite. I'm not betting this fight at all, but I do feel like I won't say he has the finishing upside just because we've seen him get hurt a lot. But at the same time, he's tough as nails. Yeah, I have a really shit read on this. I got to do a little bit more tape, but for now, I'll go Onama just because Giga. I mean, he seems like he's slowly fading, and the Allen after round 1, he just seemed kind of done. I like Onama here a little bit, but what do you got?
Yeah, I actually do agree with you, man. I think that it's in the tape. It's in the tape that Giga just doesn't look the same. Like he doesn't have that same explosiveness with the back kick that he once did. Like there was a time in which, like, I mean, you couldn't see that shit coming. He would snap that kick off like it was nothing, and he's had these guys hunched over, and they didn't even know it hit him. But I think like gradually and naturally, like he's just kind of starting to fall off, and it makes sense. Also, the one thing that I'm really interested to see in this fight is like Giga hasn't really faced a grappler. Not to say that David Onama is a grappler, but he's got the size and just the physical tools to really put some pressure on him against the cage and make this ugly and make Giga tired and just really grind on him. Like, pause. Who's he fought that's a grappler? Arnold Allen's not a grappler. Alex Caceres is not a grappler. Calvin Cater's not a grappler. Edson Barboza's not a grappler. Cub Swanson's not a grappler. I mean, he hasn't fought anybody that really can test him in the wrestling department. And I think that if Onama is smart, he doesn't want to be in a 15-minute striking fight with somebody who is as dangerous as Giga. And this is somebody who has a lot of experience winning unanimous decisions. So that's going to be the way I lean in this fight. I think that Onama probably just, if he fights smart and his coaches tell him the right thing, where is he fighting out of?
I don't know. He was with James Krause, but I don't.
Yeah,
we know what happened there.
Still,
who knows?
I think 30 years old, big age advantage, big physical advantages in this fight, and they should help him out a lot. So give me David Onama by unanimous decision.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the best. He doesn't have the best. Whatchamacallit, offensive wrestling. Yeah, he has a 20% takedown defense, but again, we've never seen Chikadze tested.
Wait, he has 20% takedown percentage.
Accuracy. Sorry, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like I just feel like it's just one of those fights where that is like the more sensible path to take. Like if you're gonna fight Giga and give yourself the best chance to win, you don't want to be in a distance striking match. And I don't think that's ever been really David Onama's MO. He's always pretty much been somebody that looks to close the distance. Beat Gabriel Santos with an uppercut. It was a nice win there. Jonathan Pierce, somebody that you got to kind of make things ugly against, and I think he did that. And then Roberto Romero, somebody that brings the fight to you, but he still did a good enough job to keep him at bay there. He's had experience against guys like Nate Landwehr. Like these guys are like warriors. I feel like Giga doesn't have that sort of willingness to engage in close quarters. So I think that's where David Onama should want this fight, and if he's smart, he should try to get it there. So I'll trust him to do that. But yeah, man, Giga.
Fuck this fight. I don't have a good read on it. Fuck.
He could turn back the clock.
I'm gonna watch as a fan. That's all I'll say. All right. Oh my god, this fight. Mingyang Zhang, Anthony Smith. I think Mingyang Zhang kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, but he could definitely knock out Smith. If Smith shot takedowns here, I mean, I know this. By the way, this is Smith's retirement fight. He looked god awful last fight. If Smith was to shoot takedowns here, though, he can win this fight. Like Mingyang Zhang, I don't think people remember. I bet him. I was like bored one night, and I was betting Road to UFC at sort of like 5 a.m, and I bet Mingyang Zhang like plus 500 against this dude Tuco Dokos, who's also in the UFC now. And he sparks him. I was so happy. I was like, what the fuck? He won. And now he's like a superstar, kind of. You know? I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a Chinese light heavyweight. Sparks Brenderson Ribeiro, Sparks Ozzy Diaz, but those fighters suck. And nobody's tested his wrestling ever. We've never seen his wrestling tested. And I feel like Smith doesn't shoot takedowns, but if he decides to have half a brain here, this is a winnable fight. But at the same time, there's a real chance that he gets absolutely sparked and gets knocked out in round 1. The under 1.5, I do feel like, I'm going to go Zhang round 1 knockout. His KO is minus 235. But, man, if he doesn't get that knockout in round 1, Smith is live. I think Anthony Smith by, like, sub or decision is 100% possible. We just never have seen this guy Mingyang Zhang tested at all. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to pick Zhang round 1 KO. Man, I'm looking at a live spot on Smith if he survives that round 1. But, yeah, Mingyang should probably spark him.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much I can add to that. Zhang, the line is what it is. We know what to expect based on that line. But Anthony Smith, we saw this against, who was it? Petrino. I mean, everybody was picking Petrino in that one against Anthony Smith.
No. Petrino is the biggest retard ever. Like Petrino.
I know. He put himself in the guillotine. He put himself, quite literally, he put his head in Anthony Smith's arm and was like, yo, submit me, please. Thank you. But that was, nonetheless, he was hyped after that. And he was like, yo, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm still here to stay, whatever. After that, 2 more losses added to the resume. God damn, man. You look at Anthony Smith's resume. Jeez, in the last couple of fights, what is he? He's 2-6. Lord have mercy, man. But I mean, it's like the level of competition really hasn't dropped off. Even up to Dominic Reyes and Roman Dolidze, those are still, decent light heavyweights. But Mingyang Zhang, he's got all the knockout power. Every single one of his fights, win or loss, it seems, comes in the first round. Even when he's losing, it's like in the first round. He's got knocked out in the first round, submitted in the first round, knocked out early in round 2. That's why I already have a bet on the under 1.5 in this fight. I think that either way this one goes, if it's an early knockout for Yang or Anthony Smith surviving something and then submitting him, it's going to happen under 1.5. That's my strongest pick here, but I would have to go with Mingyang Zhang. I think that's the only sensible choice. Anthony Smith, it is 2025. Got to take that into account, and you can't put your money on him. So happy retirement. This should be Mingyang Zhang.
Bro, I might bet Anthony Smith. We'll see.
But you're just like, man, whatever. It's.
I'm not trying to be controversial. I think.
No. I know. I understand. I'm just saying it is 2025. It is 2025. That's all I'm gonna say.
But Mingyang Zhang has not proved himself at all. He beat Ozzy Diaz and Brenderson Ribeiro.
It's true. It's very true. I can't argue.
But at the same time, this fucker could be completely done, Anthony Smith.
I know, man. It's the tough one. That's why. I mean, look. But we've seen these fights. It's always the heavy divisions where this happens. I feel like it's always the heavy divisions where it's a big favorite. I mean, who comes to mind? Who's that blondie that's not even in the UFC anymore? Robelis to Spain. Like when they get fraud checked, they get fraud checked. But I don't think it's one of those. I think he will down the line, but not this time. Not against 30, whatever the fuck he is, year-old Anthony Smith. I think he's had a great career, man. It's time to call it quits. Would he like to go on a high note? Is he going to give it his all? Is it maybe worth a shot on Anthony Smith? Maybe. Like, it actually might be. It might be, but I can't see it, bro. I can't see it.
Yeah.
Under 1.5. Under 1.5. I didn't even choose a side. Under 1.5. That's my pick.
Anthony Smith by decision. I just said it. Book it.
Have mercy. Oh no.
Book it. Anthony Smith.
Oh no. Watch out on the Instagram if that shit hits, bro, because we're gonna definitely have to.
I'm making a video about that. Fuck it. Anthony Smith by decision. Just wait and see. It's happening. Book it. I'm kidding. It probably won't happen, but I'm gonna pick it. Fuck it. Why not? Because
it's worth a little sprinkle. It's probably like plus 1,800.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. My boy Cole saying, my go Zhang round 1 KO. I'm as confident as I was with Dom Reyes KO. It's okay, yeah, Zhang round 1 KO is like minus 200.
Yo, this is Mr. 13-13 last card, by the way. I don't know if he told. Wait, he told you.
He shot me a DM and showed me.
That's crazy, man. But I think it's a safe bet. If he's saying Dom Reyes, this is the guru.
No. I'm convinced. No, fuck that. I'm not impressed with your Dom Reyes because Nikita Krylov threw that fight. He threw it. You cannot convince me otherwise. He goes runs with his fucking chin in the air. Like, what the fuck? He literally threw the fight. Someone had to have paid him.
Hey, man. That was an ugly one. I wasn't impressed with Krylov in the tape, but I was not expecting him to just come forward and just like, it was bad. He kind of did gift Anthony Dom Reyes the knockout, but still, man, I'm happy to see Dom Reyes kind of getting momentum back. Maybe he's gonna get a title shot. 2028 Dom Reyes title shot. That's what we want. I think
2028, like dude.
I think it's gonna be like 40 by then.
2028. Why you gotta wait that long?
I don't know, bro. That's just how it is because Hamzat's in this division too.
No, he's not.
Oh wait, no. I'm tripping. Wait, is he not? Light heavy? He's not a light heavyweight? Oh.
Now I'm actually considering being done with this podcast. You might have to get fired. I should bring somebody else in. Who should I? Cole, you want to replace this kid? He just thought Hamzat was a light heavyweight fighter. Like,
bro,
he
should be a light heavyweight.
What are you talking about? He fought at welterweight like 2 years ago.
Three division champ Hamzat Chimaev. I always get confused, bro, but obviously he's a middleweight. But no. Hey, if you put Hamzat,
you're done. You're done. You're screwed done. We gotta move on.
Hold on. But hypothetically, yes, I'm a dumbass. But hypothetically, if Dom Reyes and Hamzat were scheduled to fight, who would you choose?
Hamzat.
Exactly. Point proven. That's all I gotta say.
You didn't prove anything.
But that's what I'm saying. I got mixed up just because like it feels like Hamzat could be a light heavyweight because he's just fucking huge for every division. And
I wish they made Hamzat and Pereira while they could have, bro. I would have nuked.
Yeah, bro. They're never gonna do Jones Aspinall. They'll never ever do Hamzat Pereira, bro. That will never happen, bro.
I would have nuked Hamzat. Oh my god.
But I mean, after seeing that last fight for sure, but I mean. That's what I'm saying. Hamzat, bro, 3 division. No, but he's not going back down. But he could have been a 3 division champ if he beat Leon Edwards and not got COVID, and then fought like Usman for the belt, beat Usman, move up, boom, move up. Bro, he could have done that shit. I still believe in Hamzat. I still believe in what's his nickname, Boris. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We're doing too much yapping. Cole says Hamzat's a light heavyweight when he becomes a 3 division champ. I don't understand.
You know, but. It's not possible. Anyways, this main event, man. Woo!
It's a great main event. It's a great main event. Ian Garry, I'm not calling him Machado because we don't do that cuck shit around here. I'm kidding. Ian Machado Garry taking on Carlos Prates. It's a very good fight, very high level. I think Carlos Prates is the better striker, probably by far. And I do feel like he may be able to defend some takedowns, but where he's really going to struggle here is the clinch. Ian Garry's a very smart fighter, very high IQ. And I feel like in the clinch, it's gonna be Ian Garry all day. I saw like a clip on Twitter, and I rewatched that Magny fight. Of course, Prada slumped Magny, and he was also able to defend like 7 takedowns. E.G. saying Hamzat will pass away before coming through. But I do feel like in the clinch, Prates. I mean, when Magny just grabbed the hold of him. I know it only lasted 10, 15 seconds, but he was getting like beat up, kind of. I feel like Garry will be able to dirty box and hold him against the fence. I mean, I think Garry can make this a really shit fight. Like, it looks on paper to be a banger fight. I think this could be a really shitty and boring fight of Ian Garry just holding him against the fence, kind of like Ankalaev versus Pereira, and just like hitting him with dirty boxing. Like, unfortunately, that's how I see it. I like Prates a lot. I wish his style could be a fucking champion in every division. That would be sick. It would grow the sport to the fucking max. But I don't know. I just think he's very weak in the clinch. And this is a very, some fights like Chelsea Chandler and Jocelyn Edwards, we're going to say 5 words about it and move on because it's a shit low-level fight. This is a very high-level fight, and you got to go deep into it to really find specific paths. But Cole saying Prates by KO because he's got the aura. There's no other option. I don't know. I feel like his aura can really be tested against Ian Garry because Gary's a very smart fighter. He does his tape, and he'll be able to find the weaknesses. And I think Prates has a big weakness in the clinch. And another thing is, yes, Prada has defended 7 takedowns against Neil Magny in a round, but that's Neil Magny, who can't set up his takedowns with his strikes. He sets his takedowns up with strikes, but with the most bullshit strikes ever and with the most predictable takedowns ever. Ian Garry's a high-level striker. Yes, Prates is a better striker, but he'll actually feel some sort of danger on the other side of the octagon. And, he'll be able to clinch, maybe find some trips. I don't know. It should be interesting. I think Ian Garry, though, wins a boring decision here. I hate to spoil the fun, but, I'm going to always keep it a buck here. Give me Ian Garry. Line is currently dead even, I believe. Ian Garry, slight favorite. I see a lot of people on Prates online. Like a lot of people. I'm surprised he's not the favorite here. The line hasn't even moved. It's kind of crazy. I like Garry, though.
Yeah, I do see a lot of people on Prates, and I'm on Prates as well, man. I think that this spot it's going to be a freaking fun fight. No matter, if it is a boring fight, it will be because of Ian Garry. Let's get that out the way. But I just don't think that Carlos Prates is going to let that happen. I don't think he's going to let this be like what is he going to do? Just get hugged for 5 rounds? Like, we had a lot of the same concerns about John Silva in his last fight against Bryce Mitchell. For those that were on the Bryce Mitchell side, it was like, because we've never seen this guy at all tested on the ground. I don't know what he was the one that was looking better on the ground. He was the one looking for submissions multiple times and ended up getting the submission. So I'm not using John Silva as a basis, but I'm also kind of using what I saw in that fight to think that the guys that are training in this camp are just preferred strikers, but these guys are good martial artists. They're good all-around martial artists. I think Caio Baralho's shown that in his career as well. Same with Hoofy, maybe not to the same degree, but these guys are all just really well-rounded. And if you're honestly, all I need to see out of Carlos Prates is for him to just defend a couple takedowns and keep this standing. Because if he is able to keep this standing, I don't want to say it's a wash. I'm very tempted though. Because he is so different on the feet. I mean, I remember from the first one that I seen of him. Who did he fight? It was me and my brother. I remember we were watching his fight against Mitch Ramirez. Yeah, on the Contender Series. Yeah. After that, no. It wasn't that one. No, it was the Radke one. It wasn't that one. He did look really good on the Contender Series. Be it Mitch Ramirez and Trevin Giles were his first 2 fights.
Ramirez sucks though.
Well, I know. Bad competition, but
that Giles fight was not like, I know he sparked him in round 2, but he was losing. He was losing a minute of that fight.
I'm pretty sure Ian Garry was getting. Didn't he get dropped by? He got dropped by Kenan Song. Like these guys both have had moments of
flash knockdowns happen though, dude.
But bro, you don't want to even have a chance to get your chin touched by this guy. His power and
here's the thing. Ian Garry. But here's the thing. Ian Garry, he felt, I don't know, he felt like he couldn't get hurt against Song Kenan, and that he was such a mismatch, which he was. And he just went in with his chin up in the air because he thought, I'm going to dominate this guy. And he got caught. You got to know he knows what's coming from the other side of the octagon. Like, come on.
I hope that he knows what's coming, because I don't think it's going to matter.
This guy's a smart fighter, dude.
Okay, I'm not gonna just sit there and say that Carlos Prates is a dumb fighter. Then I mean, like, just being that Garry is a smart fighter is not enough to persuade me to pick him in this fight, because I know what I've seen from this guy on the feet. Even Geoff Neal had some success in the feet during those short exchanges, and that's why Ian Garry was so tempted and pressed to get this fight to a place that he felt comfortable. Carlos Prates is not gonna let that happen. I really don't think that for 5 rounds Ian Garry is going to be able to just dominate in the wrestling and dominate in the clinch department. Yes, has Carlos struggled against Neil Magny in the clinch? Maybe, but he also defended 7 takedowns, as you mentioned, in that fight. And that's going to be huge, because in my opinion, when this fight is on the feet, it's going to be not one-way traffic, because Garry has a lot to say about himself on the feet as well. But Prates is that much more powerful and that much more accurate than Ian Garry. And I think that his I don't give a fuck attitude is way stronger on the feet than Ian Garry. The way he's talking ahead of this fight, saying like, it's a pleasure, it's an honor for you to be fighting me. He's oozing with confidence. All these fighting nerds are, and they have every reason to be, because they've looked absolutely dominant in every performance. There hasn't been a moment in a Carlos Prates fight where he's, or at least from what I've seen in recent times, I know earlier in his career, he was actually criticized for being sort of a quitter and for being someone. That's something that Ian Garry's saying a lot of this week. But that's just adding fuel to the fire, in my opinion. This is somebody with all the momentum in the world, all the self-belief, and all the skill on the feet to get the job done, man. This guy, he's got every tool in the arsenal. and he's so freaking accurate. Look no further than that Li Jingliang fight, another fighter that's never been knocked out. And what did he do to that man? He did some unspeakable things to Li Jingliang, bro. It was really bad. So I think that we're going to see a lot of tough exchanges in this fight, maybe against the clinch early on, but when Prates gets any sort of room, he's going to let those hands go. He's going to let those kicks go, and he's going to hurt Ian Garry. And I think he's going to do enough. Low-key, I can see a late finish, but to be safe, I'll go Prates decision, even though he doesn't go to decision often. I'm just going to, either way, I don't know how the method is. I'm just going to pick Carlos Prates. I think he's really impressive on the feet, and I'm a strikers. I love strikers, man. I love decent, like just accurate strikers, man. I've heard a lot of comparisons to like Anderson Silva, my favorite fighter of all time. Like the accuracy on this guy is
Prates decision.
I'm not picking it, but I could see it. I'm saying I could just see a Prates, like, you know, I could see like the first 2 rounds being really, really, really close in the sense that Gary's going to go all out for the wrestling. And then if the third round and Prates just gets, you know, Ian off of him a little bit, gets some room and starts to go to work and then just hurts him one time, it's going to take one shot. This is one of those guys that has that one shot knockout power. And I don't think Ian Garry does, to be honest. Like, yeah, he has that one sliding back left hand knockout, looked really good, ignited his career, but I don't think he's doing that against Carlos Prates.
Right.
Prates' chin is good. So I think Prates is my pick, man. And let's keep this undefeated MMA fighting nerd streak rolling, baby. Let's go.
UFC.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I disagree. I think even if Garry gets one takedown, this could be over, honestly. It's going to be tough. I think
that's what everybody was saying about John Silva, and then he pulled up and said, you know what? Watch this.
What the fuck? I didn't say that.
No, not you. But I'm just saying that was a popular take, and it
John Silva is a physical specimen. That's completely different.
Hey, man, this guy smokes 15 cigs a day, and he's out here knocking motherfuckers out. So I think
got some people agreeing with me in the chat. We got EG saying Ian Garry too high IQ for me.
But he's not a meathead, EG. He's not a meathead. I don't think anything that
smokes like 20 cigarettes a day.
He's the most accurate striker in this division. How is he a meathead?
You could be an accurate striker and still be a meathead.
No, you can't, because that requires you to fucking just wing shit and without thought. Obviously, every strike that he throws has intent and thought behind it, and he's gonna fucking put Garry in the canvas. I'm so confident in Carlos Prates now. I'm willing to go to bat. Yo, it's one man.
Look, I got people. Yeah, well, you know what?
One man arm against 50.
Prates isn't champion.
One man arm against 50.
He
might not be championship level.
Will win all day.
Garry's championship level either, baby.
Garry washes.
Nah, bro. Carlos Prates.
It's fuck world over here, baby. What up?
No, bro. I like this though. I like this fight, man. It's gonna be fun.
It's not a debate like last time with Volk and Lopez.
No.
I was
on the wrong side of that one.
Who remembers that? I
was on the wrong side of that one. Anybody that want to flame me for that? Because I did end up saying, though, I said I could look really dumb because the old Volk could just show up, and he did show up, and he even ate some shots that I thought were like,
that was
caught with these, it might be over, but he showed a lot in that fight. But I'm so happy he won, so I can't even say anything. Hey, appreciate you, bro. You the go.
FJ saying if Garry wins, Lucas gets to win.
That's happened already. Believe me.
Tell him about when I put Rohan unconscious. Freshman
man.
It was an accident.
If this does happen though, if Garry wins, we can do a little IRL. I don't know. Next time we see each other, it's gonna be soon. I'm gonna be back soon. In May. So
yeah.
Well, make something happen, bro. But I'm
take a picture of this right here. Everyone, if Garry wins, Lucas gets. But what happens if Prates wins? We got to make a bet.
Yeah, if Prates wins, I get to get you in an armbar.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You can put me in a triangle. How about that?
Oh, you want bro? The most homeless.
My arms are I got, I'm a little skinny right now. I got a little fragile, little bones. Okay, you can put me in a triangle.
How's the training been going? Are you still doing that at
boxing? I got boxing in 13 minutes.
Nice, bro. I love to hear that.
Yeah. Calf kicking.
Yeah. I'll cap it. Yes, EG, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
We could spar. We could spar if
we gotta record it. We gotta record me and Lucas sparring because he's already at a big disadvantage. So we gotta
I'm at a big disadvantage. If we're boxing, okay, MMA, yes. But if we're boxing, come on.
Okay, we could do like you remember that one drill we did, like punches versus kicks? We could do something like that too.
No, I die.
I just love kicking, man. I love kicking. Yo, I need Jay Cartier to be the ref. They don't even know about that, but I need my boy Jay to be the ref.
He's training with Pereira now. Did you see that?
Yeah, bro. What the? I didn't even. That's just like I don't even know, bro. I don't even know.
Garry getting wheeled out of the octagon.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir.
Bro, I gotta go, bro. This is taking too long. I'm sorry, folks. I gotta go. I have shit to do. I got boxing in 12 minutes. You want to see? Come on, bro. I've been preparing. You want to see?
Oh, he's about to go get his gloves. Oh no, he's showing off the shadow box. Okay. Oh. I like it. I see improvements. He wasn't even a competent striker before. He didn't have the head movement, nothing. Hey, man.
All right. We got to roll, folks. I'm sorry. This is a lot of fun. Are we doing? We got to do parlay stream, right?
Oh, yeah. This card deserves. I feel like this card deserves a parlay stream for
What's
sure.
the word on Thursday? Let's do it on Thursday. You down? Because I think I'm going to be pretty busy on Friday. Yeah. After that, I'm slamming. Yo, what the fuck, bro? Come on.
Hey, man. FBA. You don't want that smoke, bro. You don't want that smoke.
Yeah, bro. Come on. MMA. I'm not the best. I'm working on my MMA skills, but boxing.
Yeah, I'm actually not the best boxer. I want to take some boxing classes. I want to take some Muay Thai classes. I should have done that while I was out here, to be honest. But
you fucked up, buddy. You fucked up. All right, well, that's it. That's all we got. Any final words?
Hey, man, enjoy the card. And my final words are Prates for the win.
Ian Garry will cuck his way to a decision-boring victory. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want Prates to win, but I also don't want to get calf kicked by you. So give me Ian Garry. That's all we got, folks. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. This was a fun one. But for now, it's been Lucas and Rohan. We'll see you on Thursday for our parlay stream. We cashed one. Did we cash one last week?
You cashed yours. That was impressive.
Last week.
Yeah. And I came fucking one leg short because Sean Woodson, the refs. Anyway.
I told you he wasn't winning, though.
But the refs, man, and
no, Sean, it wasn't the refs. Danny Ige was up 28.
I should. Yeah, they did say that. I should have took Ige spread. I didn't even do that, bro. I'm mad.
All right, I gotta go. Fine, I'm sorry. I got 10 minutes. I gotta go. Everybody, thank you and goodbye.